off and the clock has started.
Penis!
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It is the 13th episode of Art Mart's Brutal Brunch.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Dose.
2. Season with salt and pepper. Season 2.
The dropping. That's what we should call season 2. The dropping.
The dropping.
The dropping.
The dropping. But yeah. So episode 13, season 2. Glad to have you back, Mark.
I am alive.
So
barely.
Yeah. We're both here like half falling asleep. But so I'm one of your hosts, Trip Parks.
I'm Mark, usually.
Anywho, so since the last time we kind of talked, a lot of our friends have been, even myself, have been trying to go to that When We Were Young tour. Right?
A sigh of disapproval, but yes.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. But this is what I grew up on, so suck a nut. But yeah, I was on the wait list for tickets. I was on 3 minutes early for the pre-list, and I sat there like watching my computer load, and they sold out in 4 minutes and didn't say anything in an email.
Of course.
So I waited on there for 5 hours trying to get these tickets and got nothing.
That sounds about right.
It's like, do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to jail.
And honestly, like the lineup of that, some of it didn't make sense to me as far as some of the bands that were listed in there because they didn't fit. Also, there's bands that should have been there that weren't. So, like Kitty, how does like an all-female nu metal band fit in with like early 2000s emo music?
They should have just. This is how they really should have done it. They should have just literally went from Vans Warped Tour's lineup of the past.
Yeah.
And just pulled from there.
Oh, yeah. Because there's definitely bands on there that are newer. I mean, there's bands on there that are complete trash, like Black Veil Brides. Who gives a fuck about them?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody.
I am not a fan of that band.
I was never a fan of them when they were big.
No, but they were like too emo and like.
Yeah, well, that's when emo was that cheap imitation of goth. Back in those days. It was horrible. That reminds me of that one rap song, the emo song or whatever. I forget what it was, but it was popular for a minute on YouTube, I think. And yeah, it was fantastic because it made fun of them so hard.
I mean, there was one point it was hard to tell, and they were always like getting mad when you called them goth or vice versa. You're like, oh, I'm having a hard time here, man. Like,
yeah. Which I don't even understand. And now, if you like look at all the people that say they were emo and all that, none of them were the goth emos, air quotes, around that for anyone that is judging.
True. Yeah, fucking Judgertons.
But yeah, bands on there don't make sense to me on some of them. Like AFI I don't really get because their roots are in East Bay hardcore, which is not emo. Alkaline Trio don't really get, kind of the same vibe as AFI. Some of them just didn't make sense to that lineup. But Kitty, again, like I said a minute ago, they're nu metal. Like that's not even the right era.
No, not at all. Like you're right. There are a lot of bands that didn't make sense. They could have done better.
Like I understand Thursday and bands like that being in there because Thursday is one of the founding bands of the early emo movement.
That's true. And was Taking Back Sunday on that list?
Yeah, they were. So that makes sense too. But there were bands like Ecstatic Lullaby that should have been there. Juliana Theory, Finch, Thrice, all that.
I love Thrice.
Yeah, all them should have been on that list because that was all the same era.
When we were young, I wish you were here. I was like, what the fuck?
But yeah, like, I mean, and to me also, Avril Lavigne does not fit. Because, yeah, she was from that kind of era, but she was more in the pop punk side and not so much the whole emo side. And obviously that's what they're going with.
Well, okay, so this is my theory behind that. I think a lot of like artists are gap artists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but she was a headliner.
Well, I know, but I think that was like a lot of people's gap into like from like just the normal pop stuff and country whatever to pop rock ish.
Yeah.
And then the people started getting into more heavier stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
well, see, like when we were young that I would have wanted obviously wouldn't have been near as popular because that was a lot of the old school grindcore movement, like Job for a Cowboy,
Well, I loved it. I
all
saw
that kind of
them.
stuff. Yeah. I mean, but what's really funny too is on that list of the band lineup there, I've already seen 90% of them at one point or another, whether opening for someone or just being around Warped Tour or whatever.
Yeah, they got some of them like really right, like Hawthorne Heights,
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
Amberlin.
But they don't have bands like Mest. Like, you remember when Mest was such a big-ass thing for some damn reason? What was another band like Hawthorne Heights that was really popular back in the day? Goldfinger should have been on there.
Goldfinger, Less Than Jake.
Yellow Card.
Yellow Card, Less Than Jake,
Yeah,
too.
things
Like
like
Less
that.
Than Jake was like a huge...
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of bands that should have been on that list that weren't. And a lot of bands that shouldn't be on there that are. And also, we know that it's going to be a clusterfuck anyway, because you've seen how the planning is. They went from being only a one-day festival to all of a sudden going up to 3 days. And it's Live Nation sponsored, so we all see the whole Travis Scott thing. I mean, obviously, they've run plenty of other concerts. But just given, like, the era of post-Fire Festival, I feel like this is the Fire Festival for people with bangs over one eye.
Well, what I really think is, like, if it's, I'm going to give it a few months and wait for some people to chicken out and cancel out and see what happens with the news and them setting this up before I pull a trigger on anything.
Yeah.
You know what I
See,
mean?
and it's funny because everyone's so excited about the When We Were Young tour and getting tickets for that. I was stoked that I got a Behemoth ticket before they sold out.
Well, I think also, like, people are just, like, yearning for concerts, man. Like,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it's amazing because there's a lot of big bands that have come through here that were far from sold out
Yeah, true.
recently. Like Cradle of Filth, when I saw them in October, I mean, yeah, it was a big turnout, but I thought there would have been far more people there, especially being a small venue with a band like that.
It's true. It's just, I really do think you're right. I think it's going to be a clusterfuck, and it's just really better to wait with that shit because how many people, like, it pissed so many people, I mean, especially me with that whole situation, waiting for 5 hours.
Yeah, and also knowing the history of the way they work, they're going to release tickets in waves too. Like, they're going to make the false scarcity of it and then release more and be like, oh, we just made room for more tickets magically somehow when they had the tickets the whole time.
Well, what they could have done is they could have upgraded the venue. Like, that's not even the biggest venue in Vegas.
No. And for a concert like that was having that much hype, they could have got, like, a huge-ass arena or something. I mean, especially with the price per ticket, with the amount of people that were trying to buy them.
Someone could have been a lot richer.
Yeah.
I don't know. There is some poor planning in there, and I think it was...
Live Nation is known for poor planning. Speaking of, like, I bought AFI tickets for March, and Live Nation is the ones doing that. Now all of a sudden it's postponed till November, randomly.
I feel like their organizational skills are not great. This is not going to turn out awesome.
No, not at all. It's probably going to turn out to be horrible. I am tangled up in this wire. This is not working.
This is hysterical.
Oh, my God. Okay, anyway, I feel like it's going to turn out horrible. And it's going to be underwhelming at most. People are going to be disappointed that they won't get to see the bands they wanted to see, especially now they broke it into different days. Because now you know that all the bands aren't going to play on one day.
Well, especially coming back that next weekend to do another show.
Yeah.
The odds are not likely, man. A lot of these bands, like Bring Me the Horizon, is a huge, like, international band.
Yeah.
They don't have time to, like...
No, and they aren't even one of the headliners.
No, exactly.
Which was surprising, too.
They've gotten real big over the past few years.
Mm-hmm.
I like their old stuff better, though.
Right. I will say Sempiternal's their masterpiece album.
Oh, God, that album is fucking...
But, yeah. Anything that and before was great. Not a fan of anything after.
There's, like, a handful of songs.
Yeah. I mean, a few songs, yes, but as far as full albums go,
yeah.
not so much.
No. Like the last one with Parasite Eve on it. And
yeah, that it wasn't bad.
It just wasn't.
It was just very generic.
It feels like they repeated it from the last one.
Yeah. Where Parasite Eve, I think, was the only good song on the whole album.
I like Teardrops, too.
Yeah, but that just felt too much like their previous album.
I mean, it did. I just like the guitar, like the end, like guitar riff. I love that shit so much.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do 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 do.
Right. Also, like, why is Under Oath not on this bill?
There's a ton of bands, like a ton.
Mm-hmm.
We should go back. You know what? Since we have the time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back through old Warped Tour.
Wait, is Chiodos on there? Because that should be another one that should be in there. Or Seosin. Seosin was on there though, weren't they?
Did you ever go to Warped Tour?
I've gone to a few. Yeah.
All right, what year?
04 and 05. And maybe 03, if I remember right. I went to quite a few. All the ones I went to were in Kansas City. And the year that so the year that My Chemical Romance and Avenged Sevenfold played like back to back on the two different stages, forget what year that was, maybe 05. That was the same year that I went to the Marilyn Manson concert and got bear maced in the face in Kansas City at Freakers Ball.
Oh, okay. All right, so this was the teal stage. It was Anti-Flag. That should have been on the
that's one of my
list.
hometown bands. They're from Pittsburgh.
Billy Talent, Bowling for Soup, Bouncing Souls, Newfound Glory, No Effects, Simple Plan, Story of the Year. Why is that not on there? Taking Back Sunday, they're playing. Tiger Army, The Used.
Oh, I love Tiger Army.
And then Brain Stage, All American Rejects. They were gonna play.
Yeah, also The Used is on that list too.
Alkaline Trio, Bad Religion.
Also on the list.
Oh,
Bad Religion, I could see not being there because they're punk.
How about this one, Cohen and Cambria?
Yeah, see, that should have definitely been in there.
Why is that not on there?
Yeah, they're one of those bands that should have been on there. Like, they've been around for a long ass time.
Dude, and so I was trying to see them one year, and I had to do summer school and had to left late, and I got to their concert as they were finishing Welcome Home.
That's probably my favorite song by them.
And I wanted to fucking shoot myself in the leg. I was like, if I just was good at math.
Right.
Flogging Molly.
I just saw them in October.
Good Charlotte.
See, why is Good Charlotte not on there? That should have been one of those bands. Didn't
Yeah.
they just come out with new music recently, or was that Hawthorne Heights?
Yeah, I think no. I think it was Good Charlotte. No, but okay, so Thursday's on there, but they're playing the show.
Thursday is a required band for that.
Yellow Card.
Because even Thursday, like their newest album, sounds just like the stuff from like 2001.
It does. It does.
I was actually very impressed that they kept the same sound.
All right, so the Marie stage. This is like littler bands at the time.
Yeah.
Alistair, Atmosphere, Avenged Sevenfold, The Casualties, From Autumn to Ashes.
I do love the Casualties. Yeah, I did bring up From Autumn to Ashes should have been on there too. Yeah.
Matchbook Romance, My Chemical Romance.
All the romances.
Yeah, Rise Against. It was Rise Against. Rise Against was on the We Were Young tour.
I didn't see them on there.
I think they were.
If they weren't, they should be.
Census Fail.
Yeah, that's another one that should have been.
Oh my God, the Volcom stage.
So in 2005, I accidentally broke someone's arm in a mosh pit to Tsunami Bomb.
Nice, man. Nice.
It was a complete accident, but it's a story. I was so sunburnt that year.
I dropped kicked a kid in the face once. He punched me in a mosh pit. And I was like, okay, bitch.
Right? Watch me. Boom.
I don't care about my body.
Right? See, Warped Tour was great because it was one day full of dehydration and sunburn.
Yeah.
There's no way you could catch every band, but you made sure to make a route of all the bands you gave a shit about.
Yeah, and you're always running from place to place.
And if they were big bands, typically they were alternating the stages, so you could catch them all.
What sucked is when one of the bands you want to see at the same time is playing.
Yeah.
All right. How about Alex is on Fire?
I miss them. Their first album is the only one I remember, and it was good.
Oh my God, Chronic Future.
What about Lost Prophets? You would have thought they would have been in there. That Last Train Home song was.
Did you hear what happened to the lead singer?
No.
He got busted with child pornography 10 years ago. Yeah, they're not a band anymore.
Well, that's fine. Still put out one good song.
Yeah, one good song.
I mean, I guess that'd be the same with As I Lay Dying being, even though they're back together again.
Yeah.
But, the whole Hitman charges.
Yep. $10,000.
Yep.
Fallout Boy. It's that was a bridge band for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, they weren't even that famous. Like back in that day, Paramore and Fall Out Boy were like nobody knew who they were. They weren't anything.
How about this Motion City soundtrack?
Oh God, I haven't heard them in a while. Like a long while.
Kevin Says stage, Amber Pacific. I knew them. I didn't listen to them.
Yeah. Trying to think what other bands I saw. I got to see Mxpx, which another fun story. One of the guys from Mxpx I kind of knew in elementary school because they're from Bremerton, Washington. And I used to live not too far from there when I was in like 4th, 5th grade. I doubt they would even remember who I was at this point because I was only up there for like a year. But I did meet them.
Well, there you go.
When they were kids.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, same with Zao. Like, they're from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Pittsburgh. And I went to school with some of them, too.
Well, damn. This is all like lower shitty bands.
I mean, some of the lower shitty bands are the best ones. So.
I mean, I remember 18 Visions.
Yeah. And then, like, Armor for Sleep. Like,
Armor,
surprisingly, they're on that.
Yeah, I know,
on
right?
that tour. Like, I'm surprised people even remembered who they were.
Silverstein?
Yeah, they're okay. They're going to be playing here soon with Beartooth and the Devil Wears Prada next month.
I want to go.
Yeah, and there's one other band with them, too. I think Era, maybe. Not 100 on that. Don't quote me. But it's definitely Beartooth, Silverstein, and Devil Wears Prada.
Are you going?
Possibly.
All right.
If I can get tickets to it. Because I've missed the Devil Wears Prada every single time they've come through.
I'm going to look up tickets for that.
Yeah. If you can grab tickets for it, I'll just reimburse you. And take that day off work. Because I had to cancel my vacation day for AFI since that's now moved to November.
Yeah, I'm not remembering like most of the rest of these.
But I am very excited. I got the Behemoth ticket. Because, I mean, I'm not a big fan of Arch Enemy, but they're going to be there. Napalm Death is going to be there, so that'll be a good one to see.
Them.
And then there's another band I didn't recognize, but I mean Behemoth. Like, they're one of those bucket list black metal bands to see that put on a hell of a show.
Yeah. Oh, Reliant K, I remember them.
Oh, God. Oh, shit, what's the one band? Did you ever listen to the band Fillmore that had a P? It was one of those
I think so.
Christian core bands
Yeah.
from like the early 2000s. They were from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Really?
And they would tour through Missouri a lot when I was in high school. So like me and some friends actually got to know them on a personal level. And one of my friends did a T-shirt for them
No way.
in high school. But they never got to be like really, really famous. But they were a good band back in the day.
For sure.
What other...
Yeah, dude,
bands
the 04 lineup was fucking like
Yeah, wasn't that the year that had like Manic Hispanic and
it was like everybody famous.
yeah,
I mean, okay, so this is 05. They have Skindred on there. Do you remember them?
yeah.
They were dope.
That's also new metal though, technically.
Yeah, I mean it was reggae
See,
metal.
that's when Warped Tour started to shift, because like anything that was 05 and older was more punk. But in 05 is when they started to kind of diverge to other genres. That's when like Katy Perry started showing up at Warped Tour and shit like that.
Yeah, I was seeing just a huge shift after 05.
Yeah, like I remember the Transplants were one of those bands. Like, you know, before Travis Barker blew up into what he is now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he still had Blink 182, Plus 44, all those bands. But that was before like he turned into the icon he is at this point.
He was getting close. He was getting close though.
Yeah. So I feel like the year the Transplants were there was the year that they started to shift. Because that was more I don't even know what that was considered, because there was like rap involved and punk and other stuff. It felt very mid 2000s.
They started doing indie stuff too. Oh, Day to Remember was on 05.
Yeah, I know that year I saw a lot of those bands more than once just because they happened to be touring in the area.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, because I saw Avenged Sevenfold before they went shitty, like sounding the Seventh Trumpet era.
Second Heartbeat or whatever.
Yeah.
Waking the Fallen. I like that one.
Yeah. Basically everything that was before the album that had Bat City or Bat whatever.
I just loved all their stuff, to be honest.
Like that's back when they were good. Atreyu was at the year that I'm remembering fondly.
That was 05.
Yeah. And that's before shit. That's when The Curse came out, which is one of their best albums. Like,
I used to be obsessed with Atreyu and Avenged Sevenfold were like my two favorite bands in high school.
And then Dropkick Murphys were there. I remember that. Mxpx was there.
I went for like 7 years in a row.
The Damned were there. Also, The Unseen were there.
I have probably the best car accident story ever, and it's all because of Warped Tour.
You mean you didn't get hit by a car yourself this time?
Let me explain.
Or did you?
Let me explain. So
go on.
This is the first outing my parents ever let me out with my friends by ourselves. We're driving from Virginia to Maryland to go to Warped Tour, and all my friends were drinking in the back of the car, and I didn't want to drink because I know how dehydrated you get during Warped Tour. I was like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like,
and there's nowhere to get water either.
No,
usually.
not
Sometimes
$20.
there's like a hose spigot on the side of like a bathroom or something. That's about it.
It's usually rare, and the water is usually so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Because where I went was Kansas City, or at the time, something park starts with an O, Overland Park, something like that. Anyway, that's where it was. It was like at the Verizon Arena, or Verizon Fairgrounds, or something Verizon up there.
Yeah. Well, they were all drinking in the car, or whatever, and this car full of girls our age stopped next to us because we were all backed up in traffic, and one of the girls flashed us, and I missed it, and it was like, oh titties, oh my god titties, and I was like, oh shit, all right, well if I was like, it happened again, let me know. And she did it again, and one of my friends said titties, and I hit the gas instead of the brake and hit the car in front of me.
Of course.
And of course, I see this guy everywhere at the concert.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
Oh, the guy that was in front of you?
Yeah, the one I hit.
Yeah, of course.
My dad jokingly said, he's like, if you take this like a guy judge, you might get off just a humor. Like, case closed, like fix your own car.
Also, to be fair, though, because you had seen him and have a memory with him, you probably would see him more often just because he wouldn't blend in with the crowd.
I think that's mostly why.
Yeah, it's kind of like that thing of when you buy a car, all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. One of those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, we are getting towards the end of this podcast. So if you guys could please follow us on social media, yada, yada, do that jam. I do have a special announcement for us, Mark.
Oh.
Since we broke our 1,000th unique download last week or something like that, we are going to be planning a celebration party for it. Maybe a week or two.
Oh.
Maybe a week or two. We'll do a live show, have some people here, and we'll
could do that.
Invite old guests. And
what we should do is do it on a different day than normal, like maybe a Sunday.
We can do it whenever.
Because I'm off on Sundays, so maybe we could even set up a thing where we actually like do a live where we stream the podcast and have people on with us. And
well, that's the thing. We can bring on old guests and stuff like that, and just have them like, thank you so much for helping us get to this goal.
Yeah, be like one of those goodbye episodes on a sitcom where everyone shows up and takes a bow, except we're not ending. We're just beginning. Evil laughter inserted here.
Well, anyway, get ready for that. Markers. Well, if you guys go onto our Facebook page, I'm going to be doing a little bit more on there. Go ahead and follow that, and we'll have a little event made for it, and you guys can follow along and join us live. Maybe we can do it live. You can see our faces.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I want people to see my face.
We can wear masks. There's a pandemic.
That's true. Or chin diapers.
Chin diapers.
We were just watching South Park before we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, as a tradition, peace.